Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Esoteric Wisdom. I'm so happy you're here as we dive into something every Sagittarius needs in 2025, stress relief. If you're a Sag or just someone who loves a little starry wisdom, this one's got your name on it. We're talking relaxation techniques tailor-made for your fiery, free-spirited heart. Because, let's face it, ladies, even the wildest horses need a moment to graze. Picture this. It's a chilly March evening. You're curled up with a blanket, and the world's buzzing a little too loud. For Sagittarius, born between November 22nd and December 21st, that restless energy is your superpower. But it can also wind you up tighter than a fiddle string. You're the zodiac's adventurer, always chasing the next big thing. But sometimes that chase leaves you frazzled. Don't worry, though, at Esoteric Wisdom, we're not here to tame you. We're here to help you unwind in ways that feel like freedom. Not a chore. Stress and Sagittarius? It's a sneaky duo. You're ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion, so you feel everything big, joy, dreams, and yep, tension too. But here's the magic, 2025's your year to breathe easy. With tricks that fit your vibe. Whether it's a porch swing moment or a dance party in your kitchen, we've got stories and stardust to share. Think Oprah's calm under pressure grace or Ellen's laugh it off charm, Sagittarian secrets we'll unpack together. So, grab your favorite tea, or that glass of Merlot. I see you, get cozy, and let's explore how to melt that stress away. This is Esoteric Wisdom, where the stars hug your soul, and every day's a chance to find your peace. Ready to kick back with Jupiter's blessing? Let's roll. Chapter 1. Why stress hits Sagittarius hard. Alright, ladies, let's get right into the nitty-gritty. Why does stress seem to pounce on a Sagittarius like a sneaky cat on your front porch? If you're born between November 22nd and December 21st, you're a fire sign through and through, ruled by Jupiter, the big kahuna of the zodiac planets. We're talking growth, abundance, and that go big or go home attitude that's practically tattooed on your soul. You're the dreamer of the bunch, always plotting your next cross-country road trip, cracking the kind of belly laughs that make everyone join in, and carrying a heart so wide open it could hug the whole darn world. But here's the kicker. That same fiery spark that lights you up can flare into stress when life starts stacking up like firewood in a Midwest winter. Let's break it down psychologically, because there's some real meat on these bones. You're wired for freedom, plain and simple. Experts who study the mind, folks with fancy degrees and clipboards, have found that people with your optimistic streak, yep, that's classic Sagittarius, absolutely thrive when the sky's the limit. Possibility is your oxygen, it's what keeps you buzzing like a bee in a sunflower patch. But throw in a tight deadline, some family drama, or a laundry list of shoulds longer than a CVS receipt, and suddenly it's like someone's tied a rope around your spirit. You don't just dislike being boxed in, you downright rebel against it. Jupiter, your ruling planet, doesn't help matters either. It's like a cosmic megaphone, taking a tiny worry, say, forgetting to RSVP to your cousin's baby shower, and turning it into a full-on mental thunderstorm. Complete with lightning and that rumbling feeling in your chest. Maybe it's the grandkids needing rides to soccer practice all week. Or that kitchen remodel you started 3 months ago that's still a mess of half-painted cabinets and sawdust. Before you know it, your usual sunny self is hiding behind some pretty gray clouds. Now, let's toss some astrology into the mix. Because 2025's got its own flavor for you. Take March, for example. It's like a seesaw ride between two vibes. Early in the month, you've got Pisces season casting this dreamy, misty haze over everything. It's all feelings and floatiness, which can leave you scattered, like you're trying to herd cats in a fog. You might catch yourself staring out the window, wondering where the day went, while the dishes pile up and your inbox pings like a pinball machine. Then, bam, later in March, Aries season kicks in with its fiery, get up and go energy. Suddenly, you're restless as a colt, itching to tackle 10 projects at once, repaint the guest room, book a weekend getaway, maybe even start that side hustle you've been yakking about at book club. Jupiter's influence is still hanging around, maybe even whispering from a retrograde shadow. nudging you to pump the brakes and take a beat. But slowing down? Honey, that's about as natural to you as snow in July. You're the gal who'd rather throw together a last-minute barbecue with all the neighbors than sit still twiddling your thumbs. Stress sneaks in right there in that gap, when your body's racing a mile a minute. But deep down, your soul's waving a little white flag, begging for a breather. I've seen it play out in real life, too. Take my friend Marla, she's a Sagittarius down to her bones. In her 50s now, and the kind of woman who's the life of every potluck supper. Last year, though, she hit a wall. She was juggling her job at the library with her daughter's wedding plans, think seating charts, flower deliveries, and a bridezilla meltdown over cake flavors. Marla's usually the one cracking jokes and keeping everyone's spirits up. But she started snapping like a brittle twig in a windstorm. I just wanted to run away. She confessed to me over coffee one morning, her eyes wide like she was half serious about hopping in her pickup and heading for the hills. Sound familiar? That's your fire sign soul talking loud and clear when stress digs its claws in. Your first instinct isn't to fight it head-on, it's to bolt. To break free. To find the nearest exit and gallop towards something, anything, that feels like open air. But here's where it gets good. Ladies, so lean in close. That urge to run? It's not a flaw, it's a clue. Stress hits you hard because you're not built for cages. Whether they're made of steel or worry. Your heart's too big, your dreams too wild, to let tension tie you down. The trick isn't to force yourself into some stiff, quiet corner. That's not you. It's about finding ways to unwind that feel like they're cut from the same cloth as your spirit. Relaxation for a Sagittarius isn't surrender, it's reclaiming your peace on your terms. Think less, sit cross-legged and chant, and more, crank up the tunes and dance it out in the living room. It's about letting that fire burn bright without burning you out. Take a second to picture it. Maybe it's the chaos of a Tuesday afternoon, your phone's buzzing with texts about carpool schedules. The dogs chewed up your favorite slipper. And you're still stewing over that snarky comment your sister-in-law made at Sunday brunch. For most folks, that's a mild headache. For you, it's a 5-alarm fire in your head. Because you feel it all so deeply. Jupiter doesn't let you do anything halfway, joy's a festival. But stress is a circus too. That's why 2025's calling you to pay attention. March alone, with its Pisces to Aries swing, is like a cosmic tug of war, pulling you between drifting and charging. If you don't find your footing, you'll end up frazzled, snapping at the cashier over a coupon or pacing the kitchen at midnight. Plotting an escape to Montana. But don't fret, there's hope. And it's tailor-made for you. My pal Marla? She didn't run off, though she threatened to. Instead, she started taking walks, big, rambling ones around the lake near her house. Letting the breeze and the water talk her down. It wasn't fancy, but it worked. That's the Sag way. Stress might hit hard. But you've got a wild heart that knows how to fight back. Just not with fists. We're going to dig into techniques that match that vibe, stuff that feels like freedom. Not a chore. So stick with me, ladies, we're about to shake off that tension and let your spirit soar again. Chapter 2. Nature's Embrace, Grounding Your Fire. Alright, ladies, let's dive into your first go-to for kicking stress to the curb, nature. For you Sagittarius gals, the great outdoors isn't just some pretty scenery you drive by on your way to the grocery store, it's your sanctuary. Your happy place, your deep breath haven, born under the fiery glow of Jupiter. The planet that's all about stretching wide and dreaming big. You've got a soul that doesn't just want wide open spaces, it downright demands them. And in 2025, tapping into that natural goodness can melt your tension faster than butter sliding off a hot biscuit fresh from the oven. This isn't about turning into some tree-hugging hippie, unless that's your vibe. Then go for it, girl. It's about letting Mother Earth wrap her steady arms around you and hold you up when life's got you spinning. So why does nature work such magic for you? Let's get a little brainy for a sec. Psychology's got some solid answers here. Research keeps showing that just 20 minutes outside, whether it's a stroll through the local park, a sit on your back deck, or even pacing your driveway, can drop those cortisol levels like a rock off a cliff. Cortisol's that sneaky stress hormone that makes your heart race and your mind buzz like a beehive on a summer day. For most folks, That's a neat little science fact. But for you, it's more than numbers on a page, it's pure instinct kicking in. You're the zodiac's wild child. The one who feels most alive with a little dirt smudged under your nails. The wind whipping through your hair. Or the sun warming your face like a kiss from the universe. Stress starts piling up when you're stuck inside too long. Think of those dreary days cooped up with a to-do list longer than a country mile and twice as daunting. The laundry's mocking you, the phone won't stop pinging, and that leaky faucet's still dripping like it's auditioning for a percussion band. That's when your Sag spirit starts clawing at the walls, itching to break free. Nature? It's your reset button, your cosmic control plus alt plus delete, ready to reboot you back to your bright-eyed self. Here's a simple trick to get you started. Take a barefoot walk. Yep, kick off those shoes, don't matter if they're your trusty sneakers or those cute flats you snagged at the outlet mall, and let your toes sink into the grass, the sand, or even the cool dirt of your backyard. Take a deep breath, let it out slow, and just feel the ground under you. My cousin Tina, a Sagittarius through and through, swears by this like it's gospel. Last spring, she was a hot mess. Work deadlines had her pacing her living room like a caged lion, growling at anyone who dared ask her a question. One afternoon, she'd had enough. She ditched her shoes, marched out to her yard, and wandered around barefoot, letting the earth cool her jets. It was like the ground just sucked all the crazy right out of me. She told me later, laughing over a glass of sweet tea. 10 minutes of that, and she was humming Dolly Parton's Jolene like nothing ever happened. That's your vibe. Ladies, simple, free, and so dang effective it's almost unfair. Even the stars back this up. Ellen DeGeneres, born January 26th, is a Sag queen who gets it down to her bones. You've probably seen her on TV. All grins and good vibes. But she's been real about how she keeps that energy flowing. She's often spotted digging in her garden or strolling the sprawling grounds of her Montecito home, soaking up the peace that only nature can dish out. In a 2020 interview, she said, "Nature's where I recharge, plants don't talk back. And they don't care if you're late. Ain't that the truth?" For you in March 2025, this is prime time to lean in. Early in the month, Pisces season's got everything soft and dreamy. Like a watercolor painting come to life, it's the perfect excuse to take a slow hike through the woods or just plop down on your porch with a mug of coffee and watch the world wake up. No big forest nearby? No sweat. A little potted plant on your windowsill can do the trick. Give it a name, water it, talk to it about your day. It's not weird, it's grounding. And it's pure Sag magic. But let's make it a habit. Because once a week won't cut it for your restless soul. Weave nature into your everyday rhythm. And watch the stress peel away like old paint. Sip your morning tea outside at sunrise. Let the birds serenade you while the sky turns pink and gold. Or step out at night and stargaze, Jupiter's up there somewhere, winking down like an old friend cheering you on. It's not about forcing anything, it's about flow. About letting the outdoors pull you back to center without a fuss. My friend Tina took it up a notch after that first barefoot day. She started hauling her rocking chair out to the yard every evening. Just sitting there with a glass of lemonade, watching the fireflies blink. It's like the world's telling me to chill, she said. And she's right. That's what nature does for you. It's a big, green permission slip to let go. And because we're talking to a bunch of American gals here, let's sprinkle in some of that red, white, and blue flavor. Pair this nature fix with stuff that feels like home. Pack a picnic with a slice of apple pie and head to the nearest lake. Or string up a hammock between two trees and nap the afternoon away with a breeze rocking you gentle. Picture a Sunday afternoon sprawled out on a blanket in your backyard. The kids or grandkids running around while you soak up the sun with a cold iced tea in hand. That's not just relaxation, that's a slice of Americana with a Sagittarius twist. And it's yours for the taking. Stress might creep in when life gets loud. Maybe it's the wah nagging about your overgrown shrubs. Or the PTA roping you into yet another bake sale, but nature's your shield. Ladies, it's not about escaping forever, it's about stepping out long enough to catch your breath. Think of those days when the house feels like it's closing in, the dishwasher's on the fritz, the dog's tracking mud everywhere, and you're one phone call away from losing it. That's your cue. Slip outside, even if it's just to your stoop. And let the air rinse you clean. In 2025, with all its ups and downs, nature's your steady pal, always there. Never judging, ready to wrap you in calm the second you say yes. So go on, kick off those shoes, and let the earth do its thing. You'll be humming your own tune in no time. Chapter 3. Move it out, dance, stretch, and shake off stress. Alright, Sag sisters, let's crank things up a notch. Movement's your next big weapon against stress. And it's about to set your soul on fire in the best way. You're a fire sign, born with Jupiter's wild, boundless energy pumping through your veins. So asking you to sit still when you're stressed is like telling a river to quit flowing or a bonfire to simmer down. No way, no how, that's not your style. In 2025, we're getting that body grooving. Whether it's dancing like nobody's watching, stretching out the kinks, or shaking off the day's mess until you're buzzing with life again. This is your ticket to burn off tension and reignite that spark that makes you, well, you. So why's movement such a game changer for you? Let's dip into the science bucket real quick. Psychology's got your back on this one. When you get moving, your body pumps out endorphins. Those little feel-good chemicals that swoop in like superheroes to chase stress out the door. For most folks, that's a nice perk. But for you, it's deeper than that. It's downright essential. Your spirit's built to move, to roam, to kick up dust and dance in it. When life starts piling on heavy, maybe the car's back in the shop for the third time this month. Or your in-laws have turned your guest room into a permanent Airbnb, you don't just sit there stewing. Nope, you pace the floor like a restless colt. Fidget with every pen on the counter. Or start daydreaming about packing a bag and hightailing it to Texas for some barbecue and solitude. That's your fire sign soul screaming for release. And channeling all that antsy energy into motion? Honey, that's when the magic happens. This isn't about signing up for a fancy gym membership or sweating it out on a treadmill, unless that's your jam. Then power to you. It's about finding what feels like play. What lights you up? What makes you forget the clock and the chaos for a hot minute? Let's start with dancing, because if there's one thing a Sagittarius can't resist, it's a good beat. Picture this. You're in your kitchen. The day's been a dumpster fire. Think tax season crunch or a PTA meeting that dragged on till kingdom come, and you're about ready to snap. Crank up some Reba McEntire. Maybe Fancy, or go classic with Fleetwood Mac's Dreams, and let loose. Twirl around the linoleum, kick up your heels, maybe even grab a spatula for a makeshift mic. My neighbor Sue, a sag in her late 50s with a laugh you can hear 3 houses down, swears by this like it's her religion. After a rough day, like the time her accountant called with bad news and her dryer died mid-load, she'd blast Sweet Home Alabama and dance with her goofy mutt. Rusty, spinning circles around the living room. It's like the stress just peels off me, she told me once, still giggling from the memory. 5 minutes of that, and she's back to cracking jokes and pouring iced tea like nothing ever happened. That's your fire sign magic right there. Motion turns into medicine. And you're laughing before you even realize the wheat's gone. Even the big names know this trick. Take Oprah Winfrey, our Sagittarius queen, born January 29th. She's the poster child for keeping it together under pressure. But she's been real about how she unwinds. She's talked about walking her dogs along the trails near her California estate or rolling out a yoga mat to stretch out the day. In a 2017 interview, she said, "Moving keeps me sane, otherwise, I'd lose it running around in my own head." That's a Sag truth if I ever heard one. Your mind's a racetrack. And your body's gotta keep up. For you in March 2025, this is prime time to lean into it. Aries season rolls in later in the month, lighting a match under your already fiery spirit. So try a stretch session that feels like freedom instead of a chore. Stand tall. Reach your arms up like you're trying to grab the sky. Twist side to side like a willow bending in the breeze. And let your breath flow deep and slow. Feel those tight spots in your shoulders loosen up. That knot in your chest unravel. Or go wild and shake it out. Stand up. Shimmy your shoulders like you're shaking off a wet dog. Let your arms flop and bounce until the jitters fly right out of you. It's silly, it's fun, and it's so dang you it oughta be trademarked. Make it your own. Because that's how Sagittarius rolls. You don't do cookie cutter. Picture a morning boogie while the coffee's brewing. Maybe some Dolly Parton or a little Luke Bryan to get your hips swaying before the day even starts. Or step out at sunset. Stretch on the deck while the sky turns orange and pink. And let the crickets cheer you on. My pal Sue took it up a notch. She started dragging her husband into it. Turning their backyard into an impromptu dance floor on Friday nights. He's terrible at it, she cackled, but it beats arguing over the remote. That's the spirit, turn it into playtime. And stress doesn't stand a chance. And since we're talking to a crowd with stars and stripes in their blood, let's sprinkle in some American flair. Pair this movement fix with stuff that feels like home. Round up your girlfriends for a line dancing night. Stomping your boots to Cotton Eye Joe until you're breathless and grinning. Or take a jog by the county fairgrounds, waving at the folks setting up for the weekend rodeo. The air thick with popcorn and promise. Imagine a Saturday morning where you blast Springsteen's Born to Run, how's that for on the nose, and prance around the yard with the kids or grandkids trailing behind. Giggling like fools. That's not just stress relief, that's a slice of heartland joy with a Sagittarius twist. And it's yours for the taking. Stress loves to creep in when life's piling on, maybe the dishwasher's leaking again. Or your boss dumped a last-minute project on your desk right before the weekend. You feel it in your bones. That twitchy need to do something. Anything. To shake it off. Movement's your zapper. Your secret sauce. Doesn't matter if it's a full-on dance party or a quick stretch by the mailbox. In 2025, with all its twists and turns, this is your ace in the hole. Think of those days when the world's too loud, the neighbor's dog won't quit barking. The grocery list's a novel. And you're one spilled coffee away from hollering. That's your cue. Get up. Get out. Let your body lead the way. Twirl. Sway. Shake. Whatever it takes to wake that fire back up. You're not just burning off stress, you're roaring back to life. And that's the Sagittarius way, full tilt. Full heart. All in. Chapter 4. Mindful Moments, Quiet Your Soul. Sag Style. Alright, ladies, let's ease into something a little softer now, mindful moments that fit your Sagittarius soul like a cozy sweater. Not some stiff straitjacket that makes you itch. You're Jupiter's kid, born with that big, bold energy that's all about stretching out, reaching for the stars, and living life wide open. So when someone says, hey, just meditate for an hour, you're probably squirming in your seat. Picturing yourself bolting for the door faster than a jackrabbit at a coyote convention. But here's the deal, in 2025, a sprinkle of mindful magic can smooth out your stress without snuffing out that fiery flame that makes you you. This isn't about locking you down, it's about finding a quiet that flows with your spirit. Not against it. So why bother with mindfulness? Let's get nerdy for a hot second. Science has some pretty cool receipts on this. Studies show it rewires your brain, dialing down anxiety and cranking up calm like a dimmer switch on a too bright lamp. For most folks, that's a nice little perk. But for you, it's a trickier dance. Your mind's a highway, always zooming. Lanes wide open, pedal to the metal. You're not wired to idle, you're built to roar. Stress sneaks in when life starts throwing too many curveballs, PTA meetings that drag on till midnight. Grocery runs that feel like a scavenger hunt. That side hustle you swore you'd finish by last Tuesday but still haven't touched. It's not one big thing, it's the pile up. The juggling act that's got your head spinning like a top. Traditional meditation, the kind where you're supposed to sit still, cross your legs, and hum, until the cows come home? Yeah, that's a hard pass. It feels like someone's trying to freeze a river midstream. And you're not about that life. You need something that moves with you, that bends instead of breaks, a way to hush the noise without chaining you to a chair. Here's a gem to try. Call it a walking wonder. Take a stroll around your block, your backyard, or even just down to the mailbox. And make it a game. Notice 5 things. Maybe it's the birds chirping like they're auditioning for a choir. A red mailbox standing proud against the green. The damp smell of rain hanging in the air. The crunch of gravel under your boots. Or a squirrel darting up a tree like it's late for supper. My friend Jan, a Sag hitting 60 this year, stumbled into this after a burnout scare that had her ready to chuck it all and move to a cabin in the woods. She'd been running on fumes, work, kids, a kitchen remodel that wouldn't quit, and her nerves were shot. One day, she laced up her sneakers and started walking. Not fast, just easy, looking around. I'd just see stuff, she told me over coffee, her eyes lighting up. The trees, the sky, a kid's bike tipped over. It was like my head stopped screaming for once. 10 minutes of that, and she was breathing easier, humming a little tune instead of grinding her teeth. That's mindfulness with motion. Ladies, perfect for a Sagittarius who'd rather roam than root. In March 2025. This fits like a glove. Early in the month, Pisces season's got that dreamy, floaty vibe going. It's prime time for a slow wander that feels like a watercolor daydream. Then Aries rolls in later, keeping it lively, pushing you to stride with purpose while still soaking it all in. Even Ellen DeGeneres, born January 26th and a Sag through and through, has her own twist on this. She's dished about how she unwinds with what you could call, think breaks, short. Funny little pauses where she watches clouds roll by or cracks jokes with her wife. Portia, I don't sit and ohm, she quipped in a 2018 chat, grinning like she'd just dodged a chore. That's your speed, too, no fuss, no muss, just a quick reset that keeps your spark intact. Try a gratitude grab instead, every day. Name 3 wins, big or small, maybe the coffee came out perfect. Bold and smooth like a hug in a mug, the dog didn't chew your favorite slippers for once. Or you nailed that meatloaf recipe the family's still raving about. It's quick, it's light, and it shifts your gears without slowing you down. Or go for a big breath trick, inhale deep for 4 counts. Hold it a sec, then exhale slow for 6. Picturing your stress floating off like a bright red balloon drifting over the county fair. Feel it lift, watch it fade, it's yours to let go. Weave this into your day-to-day, because a one-off won't tame your wild heart. Sip your afternoon tea and let your mind drift. Daydream about that road trip to Nashville you've been plotting. Or the porch swing you'll hang come spring. Or grab a notebook and jot down 5 wild ideas, no rules. No edits, just pure, messy release. Maybe it's a new pie recipe, a weekend at the lake, or a crazy scheme to start a book club with nothing but cowboy novels. Let it spill out, and feel the weight slide off. My pal Jan took to carrying a little pad in her purse. She'd scribble stuff like, paint the shed purple, or, learn to 2-step, and it was like her brain unclenched. That's the ticket, not rigid. Just a gentle nudge to rest without rusting. And since we're talking to a crowd with American grit in their bones, let's toss in some homegrown flavor. Pair this mindfulness with a rocking chair moment, settle in with a glass of sweet tea. The kind that's cold and syrupy. And rock slow while the crickets tune up their evening song. Or cue up a playlist of soft country, think Patsy Cline or Willie Nelson, and let it wash over you like a warm breeze off the plains. Picture a lazy Sunday on the back porch. The kids or grandkids playing tag in the yard. And you just soaking it in, no rush. No fuss, just you in the moment. That's not stiff meditation, that's a gentle hug for your Sag soul. A little slice of heartland peace that fits you like your favorite boots. Stress loves to barge in when you're stretched thin, maybe the dishwasher's on strike. The boss wants that report yesterday. Or your sister's texting about Thanksgiving plans in July. Your mind's racing, your to-do list's a novel. And you're one spilled iced coffee away from hollering. That's when you pull this card. Step out for a walking wonder. Name your wins. Breathe it out, whatever clicks. In 2025, with its ups and downs, this is your quiet superpower. It's not about shutting you down, it's about giving your spirit room to stretch without snapping. You're Jupiter's wild child, don't let stress dim that shine. Ease into these mindful moments. And watch your soul settle soft and strong, ready to roar again when the sun comes up. Conclusion: your stress-free Sag sparkle. Well, radiant Sagittarians, we've wandered through your stress relief roadmap for 2025. And what a journey! From nature's grounding embrace to shaking it out with a dance. And sneaking in mindful moments that don't cramp your style, you've got a toolkit to tame tension and keep shining. Whether you're channeling Oprah's steady grace or Ellen's playful calm, March 2025's your time to breathe deep and dazzle. Life's too big for stress to steal your thunder. And you're too bold to let it. You're the zodiac's wildfire, fierce, free, and fabulous, so take these tricks and run. Picture it. You're barefoot in the yard, twirling to Patsy Cline, or sipping tea under the stars, grinning because you've got this. That's the Sag way, peace with a punch. Here at Esoteric Wisdom, we're all about making the cosmos your cozy corner. And I hope this ride's left you lighter. Your stress? It's just stardust now, blowing away on Jupiter's breeze. So, what's your go-to, nature? A shimmy, or a quiet minute? Whatever it is, rock it with that Sag sass we love. Before I wave goodbye, let's light up the night. Hit that like button if this clicked. Subscribe if you're not yet in the Esoteric Wisdom tribe. And drop a comment. What's your favorite way to unwind? I'll be reading every one. Coffee in hand, smiling like a fool. Until next time, keep glowing, you gorgeous trailblazers. The universe is your playground. And it's cheering you on.